Hello and welcome to everyone who joined. My name is Rafał Barnowski. I'm head of sales and marketing with Dynamics Development Center, an NAV and Business Central partner with offices in Poland and in the UK. And today I'm going to guide you through Business Central main facts. But before we begin, let's start with two surveys because I would like to know where we are and what your background is, so that I will put the emphasis in the presentation properly. Please have a look at the first survey, which asks, what is your background? So are you with a Dynamics partner or an end customer, Microsoft distribution or other? Please have a moment to fill it out. Okay, we have planning, so we have a couple of Dynamics partners. We have other. I wonder what it is, but it's good. Now the second question: what is your knowledge about Business Central? So yeah, the last one, I have practical knowledge about Business Central means that either your company is using Business Central or maybe you have already implemented this system somewhere. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, the presentation is directed more towards number 1 and number 2. So I'm completely new to Business Central. I have a basic understanding of what Business Central is. So it's great that most of the attendees are at this level. I already know quite a lot about Sony theory. Can be also useful because we'll show a very short demo of Business Central. And also, what I'm going to present today, I believe, is Business Central in a nutshell. So really everything that you need to know in one place. Okay, so without further ado, let's get it started. The plan for today is to cover this agenda. So it's everything that was in the invitation, but in a little bit different order. So we'll discuss Business Central and NAV landscape, and then I'll try to explain what actually Business Central is, and go into more detailed information like target market, licensing, and functionality, and prices. It will be, in the meantime, there will be a short demo. We'll then pass on to availability and extensibility. I'll explain how to transition from different Dynamics solutions to Business Central. And where to look for more resources on this software. And the last part will be about Dynamics DC, about our company. I'll try to explain who we are, what we do. Okay, so before we begin, just a couple of sentences, housekeeping rules. Your microphones are muted, and that's on purpose. So whenever you feel like asking a question, please type it into the chat box. My colleague who is present with me on this presentation, he will read it live and select the ones that are most useful, most insightful, most interesting, and I'll try to answer them at the very end. So please type your questions into the chat box. Okay, so where are we now? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the landscape. So first off, it's worth mentioning that Dynamics NAV, with 31 years of heritage, is definitely a household name by now. Of course, there are countries where it's more popular than others, like Denmark. But look, it's sold in almost 100. It's sold in almost all the countries in the world, 195 countries. And 160,000 customers, so it means that it's really the most popular, or one of the most popular SMB solutions when it comes to ERP systems. When we have a look at those two numbers, it turns out that the average number of users for NAV is 17, but it can equally well suit smaller installations like 2, 3, 4 users, or a lot bigger ones like 200, 300, 400, because these are installations. These are installations that I know. Okay, and how Business Central fits into this landscape. So admittedly, until spring 2018, when Business Central was released, there was quite a bit of confusion about what Microsoft is planning to do with Dynamics 365 for Financials, how they called it. Then they changed the name. They didn't change it again for Dynamics Business Central. And before spring, I think not many partners, us included, really thought that this would be worthwhile to invest their time and money to do more with finance and operations. But it changed dramatically in spring because look, the product is only 3 months old, and there has been already so much hype, so much material, both for partners and customers prepared by Microsoft, and really top of the notch material. So much readiness that we are now sure that Microsoft will do whatever it takes, will invest whatever they need to make it a huge success, because they've already committed to Business Central. And this is why we as partners are also committed to learn more, to propagate knowledge as well, and to switch to Business Central as our main product. Now, what will happen with NAV? So NAV 2018, which was released in fall, or actually, in late 2017. This will be the last version of NAV, so the brand will disappear, but it will have no effect on the life cycle of NAV 2018. So if there are customers or partners who are thinking, okay, should I be selling NAV now? The answer is yes, because it will be still supported in the mainstream support for another 5 years, and in extended support for another 10 years. So there are no changes to the life cycle. So NAV 2018 won't be impacted by the arrival of Business Central, but it will be replaced as a brand, as a platform, by Business Central altogether in fall 2018. So now Business Central only constitutes the cloud part of offering, and in fall it will constitute also on-premise and hosted part of this offering, which is now possible only through NAV. What is also interesting now, we are in this unique point in history where around 50% of NAV customers are on unsupported versions, so before version 2015. So it also presents a unique opportunity for Business Central to capitalize on this part of the market. Now, what actually Business Central is? Mind the wording, because Microsoft tends to call it not a software, but a service, an online service. And why? It makes a lot of sense, because it's a lot more than software. Business Central is the first truly SaaS, so software as a service product for SMB market from Microsoft. Because apart from the functionality, apart from software, you also get the storage on Azure, you also get SQL access, so you don't need additional SQL licenses. You get availability, so SLA with Azure, and you get upgrades. There are planned to be 2 major upgrades every year, one in April, one in October, and also some smaller updates along the way. So it's not a software per se, but rather an online service. Business Central already covers full NAV functionality or should cover full NAV functionality. There are some exceptions, like it has a bit less reports than NAV, but really the differences are tiny. It will be available only through a CSP model. I'll tell a little bit more about it later. So there's no way to purchase it directly from Microsoft. And it can be extended by both apps that are available on Microsoft App Source, and can be also customized per customer, per tenant. When it comes to capabilities, when you implement Business Central, you can expect a full ERP suite, embracing financial management, everything related to logistics, like sales, purchases, supply chain, operation management, including manufacturing, some small HR, small CRM, some project management, and of course reporting and analytics. And on top of that, it can be easily connected with Power BI, Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, and of course Office 365. So now I think that the wording platform instead of a service would be more adequate, because it's truly a powerful platform. Now, to answer the question, what type of customer is Dynamics 365 Business Central meant for, let's have a look at Microsoft Words over here. That is targeted towards a wide variety of customers within multiple industries through our partner channel. So sounds like every single customer there is, right? But it's not necessarily the truth. My explanation would be a little bit different. Business Central is meant for every customer that travels along this path. So here we are, a company of just a couple of people using their entry-level accounting solution, and QuickBooks is a really good example for that, for sure in the US. So when they reach a point when there is no longer possible to manage their company just by shouting around the office, they will look for another accounting solution, like more in-depth, offering more capabilities. And this is where Business Central comes handy. Also, there are numerous companies, and there will be more, that use Office 365. And Office 365 happens to have an addition for issuing invoices for your customers. And the next step could be to integrate it with Business Central and have all the accounting there. On top of that, Business Central can be accessed by external accountants. So you can perform all your operations in the system. Then external accountant will log in as a typical user and do the accounting stuff. So it's really powerful, and it's really versatile. When you are short on functionality, because admittedly Business Central is not a very robust sales solution or marketing solution, you can extend it by either other Dynamics 365 apps or apps from App Source. And if you have really grown to the enterprise or close to enterprise level, Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations will be the best choice for you. So this is a pinnacle of what Microsoft has achieved in terms of ERP systems. So I wouldn't say that Business Central is targeted towards each and every customer, but each and every customer, I believe, at some point will need this kind of solution. Okay, now moving on to licensing and functionality. And this is the first time we will juxtapose Business Central with NAV. Let's have a look at what NAV offers. And here we are talking about NAV subscription, because it makes most sense to compare NAV subscription to Business Central, of course. So we have pretty much 4 types of licenses: full user, extended user, limited user, and we can also purchase object packs to modify the system. All that is licensed as named users, so it means that every user that accesses the system in some way needs to have a license, but each user can use multiple devices with just one license. There are dual use rights enabled here, so it means that this subscription license can be used on your premises, on your servers. And how does it differ to Business Central? So we have two types of full users, and by the way, just having one full user, any of those, will be enough to run Business Central instance. So we have premium users and essential users, and team members, which are additional users that replaced limited users. There's also a small Power App license together with Business Central, and all that is also licensed per named user for multiple devices. Objects are for free, by the way. So when you license the first full user, you have access to system objects, and there is no mix and match enabled. So it means that if you start with 5 essential users and then would like some more advanced capabilities like manufacturing, you will need to purchase premium user license for each and every of them, even if not all of them work in manufacturing department. So you can either have 100% licenses at essential level or 100% licenses at premium level. And there are no dual use rights, which makes perfect sense as this is software as a service, so there is no license file. So it won't be possible to use it on your premises. Okay, now with the functionality, it's a little bit more transparent, I would say, than in NAV, because what Essential offers is full finance, full logistics, including WMS, project management as well, some CRM, sales, while Premium is only manufacturing and service management. So there is no longer a confusion because with NAV, part of logistics was here, part was there. With finance, also some more advanced functionality was in this advanced license. So no longer such confusion. It's the division now is crystal clear. What is more, team member is this defined as what a user can do in the system. So they can read and approve, they can run all reports, and they can do the self-serve stuff. It's no longer defined by a number of tables or a set of tables that they can enter. Okay, now a little bit about the interface. Let me show you this slide while I'm preparing the demo. Can you see my screen by now? Could you type the answer? No, okay. Okay, it's connecting. Okay, I'm very sorry, but there seems to be a technical issue. I'll try to reconnect at the end of the presentation. So just by having a look at the interface presented here, for those of you who know NAV, it's a bit more greenish or turquoise, if you like. There are role centers, like if you have a look at this one, it has finance, cash management, sales, purchasing displayed, but this is not full Business Central capability. So this is only what is interesting for accountant role, because this is accountant role displayed. There are several queues, so like shortcuts to what is most interesting for an accountant, and there are even tutorial videos, like in Get Started section below. All that, of course, available on desktop, on tablets, and on mobile phones with either Microsoft or iOS or Android systems. So as I said, we'll try to come back to the presentation at the very end, because really the system is very robust, very intelligent. I wanted to show it to you. Now, about the pricing and how to buy. What I'm showing here are NAV prices on Azure, where full user, extended user, limited user, and object packed are priced. These are recommended retail prices. Somewhere you can probably get a quotation for a bigger price with some additional services. It would be a surprise for me if you get a quotation for a lower price somewhere, but these are just recommended retail prices. Then when we have a look at Business Central, so just by comparing those, probably your first reaction is that, oh gosh, this is a steal. This is a lot more, and it is. But again, let's come back to this definition that Business Central is not a software, which NAV is. Business Central is more like a service. So what you get with Business Central is a lot more than an application. So if we have a look at NAV and try to compare a simple quotation for 10 extended users or premium users for Business Central, together with some object packs, together with some Azure environment, it will turn out that the total is a lot more than just by simply multiplying the license price. So in US dollars, it would be a little bit more than 1,000. While with Business Central, all that is very simple, because you just multiply the number of licenses per price, and you will arrive at the price of around $1,000. So I'm sure that someone in Microsoft did this kind of exercise, but surely more advanced one, and they arrived at the conclusion that that this kind of pricing would be adequate, and it is. Okay, here we have information how to buy, which is okay, a bit blurred. Sorry for that, but the information that is important here is not missing, and this is the fact that Business Central can be purchased only through cloud solution provider, so CSP model. It's no longer possible to buy it through volume licensing. It's no longer possible to buy it directly from Microsoft. Okay, next one is about availability. So here I would like to explain in which countries Business Central is now available. This is availability for NAV. So we have around 20 versions prepared by Microsoft listed here, and the total is around 43 local versions. So we have 20 something produced by local partners. And with Business Central, okay, here's a mistake, but we don't have a version in Mexico now. We don't have one in Norway yet. We have one in New Zealand and in Australia since the 1st of July this year. And we also have a W1, so a global version from the 1st of July 2018. So it's already quite a lot. Most of the mature markets are already covered. We are waiting for Business Central to be available in different parts of the world. But with W1 version now, it's possible for partners to create their own localized solutions. Okay, extensibility, because this is the aspect of Business Central that would probably be a key differentiator for this for this product. With NAV, it was possible to extend the product with C-side coding, with .NET as well, with some ISV solutions, with extensions which were available from version 2016, and also some web services and API. With Business Central now, there's a small difference. There's a small difference to the coding language. Now application language is available. You can also extend the software through AppSource, where certified apps are available. You can still purchase ISV solutions from partners, and the object range that would be available for partners is this. So still between 1,000 and 99,000. This is per tenant or per customer customization, and the objects, as I mentioned before, are included in the full license. And then we have ISV number range and AppSource number range that each partner which has ISV or AppSource solution needs to apply for. On top of that, we have 44 APIs through which connected apps can be added. It seems that C-side and .NET will be available for on-premise Business Central for some time at least. There is also in-app designer, so super users can change interface, which then is translated into code, so that developers can add it. And there are also Power Apps and Microsoft Flow enabled. Okay, now transition, because when Business Central debuted at the beginning of April, it was not already clear how customers can transition from different Dynamics products. So now it's pretty clear. All the customers that owned a Dynamics solution on 2nd April 2018 can transition based on the rules that I will describe in a while, and all Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations Business Edition licenses became Dynamics 365 Business Central at this point. What is more, from 1st of July, you cannot buy Finance and Operations Business Edition. It was completely switched off. So from that day, you could only purchase Business Central. And the transition based on the rules that I will describe will be available between 2nd April 2018 and 30th of June 2020. So after that date, for the customers who purchase Dynamics solution after the 2nd April, it's not yet known what the transition will be. But for customers who had a Dynamics solution on the 2nd of April, the path will be this way. So imagine that you owned, or your customer owned Dynamics NAV software on the 2nd of April, and that customer is on active prep. They can transition to Business Central with 40% discount, right? And it goes for every other Dynamics product, right? So we arrived at additional resources section, where I have found several useful links that you can have a look at after we send you the presentation. First off, my demo was going to be performed on a trial, which is available through Microsoft websites. You can sign up for this trial here. Full documentation for Business Central is available under this link. There's also something called Dynamics Learning Portal for Dynamics partners and customers. And this is the topic about Business Central. By the way, all of them, trial documentation and Dynamics Learning Portal, will require some form of login or registration. While YouTube channel is, of course, open to everyone, and there are already, I think, 25 short videos about Business Central. Quite nice, quite useful. Okay, more to come. In 2018 and 2019, there will be still some more things worth your consideration. Roadmap is about to be released in July. It's not released yet, so there might be a small delay because I thought it will be available from the 1st of July, but it's not yet. But the link is here. You should look for it here. There will be Business Central competency. So Microsoft resigned from NAV competency a couple of years ago, but now they will come back with it. So there will be a certification for Business Central. And about internal use rights, so licenses for partners, it is still under decision who will qualify and what are the details here. Okay, about Dynamics DC, this is about our company, just a couple of words. We are a silver enterprise resource planning partner, and definitely NAV experts. Other things that we do is Power BI and Business Central. So now I would say 90% of what we do is NAV. I hope that in 5 years we will say that 90% of what we do is Business Central. That's the goal. We are present in 20 European countries with offices in Poland and in the UK. And our offering embraces everything from implementations, training, help desk, outsourcing for development works, and also some licensing guidance and licensing insight. There are numerous ways how to contact us, either directly through phone or email, or through one of our websites. Please note that almost each of them is dedicated to a different line of business that we are in. First is about this Business Central that debuted just this week. Second one is our general portal, and another one about training, another one about help desk, and then yet another one about outsourcing called NAV Developers. Okay, I'll try to switch on the presentation one more time. Okay, I can see that that it worked now. Just I'll have a look at. Okay, I'm pretty sure that it worked now. So a short demo here. I already explained that the interface is prepared based on the role center. So here we have a sales order processor. So just a couple of key functionality that is critical for this person. Also very useful shortcuts that will enable him to create a scroll, for instance, or to report the task in Sales Journal. Everything is online, of course, works very smoothly. This is a highlight area It is customizable. It can be programmed. Here we have queues that are other shortcuts to, for instance, shipment orders. Nothing to display here, but just showing you how fast it works. So for the interface, we have a little bit of change. So not only some reports, charts, or lists are available, but also very useful shortcuts. And what more advanced users appreciate more, of course, is a search box that allows to access all the functionality very quickly. I don't even need to type the whole word, so it's really handy. And if we change quickly to the accountant, we'll see how what is available changed. So here we have more financial information. Here we go. There's again the highlight section, different shortcuts, obviously. Due invoices, just one click away. Yes, and what I mentioned during the presentation, also get started videos that are available from the interface. Really nice, really interesting. The YouTube video will pop up.
Business Central was backed by a broad.
If you feel like having a more detailed presentation, please drop us a line.